grapes are allowed to have 2 seconds.
All right, calm down. I felt my toe pecked a couple of times. So
Yeah.
I held it together. Look at the young ones at the bottom, Anthony. That's what we've been seeing. I want to talk about eucalyptus oil. Now, eucalyptus oil might not sound exciting to people, but I want to talk about some of the discoveries of the eucalyptus oil that I've been making and give you some of the case studies of what this eucalyptus oil can really do. Now, we know common eucalyptus is great for decongestion, it's soothing, it clears the airwaves, but there's so much more to eucalyptus that I never knew until I started making my own. Now, if you see the leaves right here, they're quite pointy. These are quite young leaves that have branched out, and these are the small young leaves that you see here that are more rounded, and then they form into this longish shape. Now, this simple leaf has made this wonderful, rich eucalyptus oil. And if you could smell how wonderfully potent that eucalyptus oil is. Now, I've made that with a base oil because you can't use eucalyptus directly on the skin. But let me tell you about these wonderful stories. It all started with using eucalyptus oil when I had a few aches and pains, because when I rubbed it on my skin, it gave a really soothing, warming effect. And I realised that the pains in my feet from when I was working long hours ebbed away. Then I started giving it to other people who had things like back pain and joint pain to see how it might work for them too. So my neighbour, an elderly lady, suffers with sciatica, as does my father, and both of them swear by it in terms of alleviating the pain which sciatica brings. But this is the remarkable thing about it. Sciatica is linked to a nerve pain. It's not a muscle pain, but yet it really works for them. I mean, my father couldn't even do up his laces at one point. The eucalyptus oil gave him that much relief that he was able to tie his laces, drive, because the pain would shoot up and down his legs, sometimes towards his back. And then most recently, I have a lady who has rheumatoid arthritis, and she has pains in her hand, and sometimes she cannot use her index finger. She also gets the pain in her legs, and she was off work for a couple of weeks because she couldn't even walk. Now, having used the eucalyptus oil, and she tells me now she uses it over her whole body, when she's coming into work in the morning, she goes uphill when she comes out of the train station. She said that she kept wondering where the pain was, and she couldn't feel the pain anymore. She said at first the pain was different, and she said she felt that it was less, but it's still different to the pain she was having before. And now she's able to climb the hill pain-free. She's able to use her hand, and her finger isn't stiff. And also, it's been great for people who suffered with back pain. There was a lady who had bent down in the office one day in the afternoon. She could not get up. Her back seemed to have stiffened. And the lady who had the eucalyptus oil that was using it for her rheumatoid arthritis quickly got her oil out, rubbed it on her back. And I always say, rub it until you feel the heat. And the person just remarked, "Oh my goodness, the pain's gone." She goes, "Oh, it's gone and I can stand up." That's how quickly the oil worked. It's also worked for other people who have sore, aching joints, and it does work on inflammation. Once it takes down the inflammation, the body is able to be more mobile, but it also eliminates the pain, and that's what's remarkable about this eucalyptus oil. And I love it even just as a deodorant. It's a great deodorant for me because I don't use conventional deodorants. I tend to use my own natural skincare solutions, and that's what I want to talk about in my upcoming workshop, What the Health Next, on the 19th of October.